So this video is going to be a little bit different, but I've been asked over the years by a lot of different people how to actually get into shooting sports and documentary content. And honestly, I've never really had a great answer. Usually I just shrug and say something like, be the person that people want to be around and hope for a bit of luck. But honestly, after looking back and actually connecting those dots, luck really doesn't have much to do with it. So here's a real world case study of how I landed one of my best clients. And the funny part here is that I didn't land this client by pitching them. I didn't blast my reel in an email, and I definitely didn't use LinkedIn because I don't think I've ever used that in my life. I actually got it just from a 5-minute conversation at a hockey game. And here's the wild part. That conversation actually started 6 years earlier, before that game. Because this is really a story about connecting dots and building relationships. So let's set the stage. Back in 2011, I shot some photos and videos for a small local brand. Back then, it wasn't even called content yet. I think I was shooting on the 5D Mark III, and while working on one of those shoots, I worked alongside one of their graphic designers. It wasn't anything crazy. There was no big pitch, no strategic networking move. It was just two people working in the same creative space, and we got along. We worked well together, and we stayed loosely connected. But over the years, I did notice on Facebook that that same designer eventually joined with Bauer Hockey. That was it. I just saw it. There was no master plan, no follow-up strategy, just awareness that this guy that I worked with at one time works for Bauer. Now, fast forward to 2017, I'm shooting for the Toronto Maple Leafs at a home game. Moving around the arena, grabbing content, doing my thing. And I noticed a couple of guys that were wearing Bauer jackets. So I walked over and I just asked, do you guys work for Bauer? And does my buddy still work there? They responded with a big, we love that guy. He's such a great guy. And that was it. There was no, here's my reel. I'm a filmmaker, by the way. Not a, hey, let's collaborate. I saw you work with Bauer. I want work with you. It was just curiosity. They said, yeah, again, we love that guy, and he still works there. We chatted for maybe 5 minutes, completely casual, and then I went back to work, shooting content around the arena. Didn't think much of it. Now, a few days later, I got a phone call, and it was that same graphic designer friend from years earlier. And he said, hey, we need a videographer later this week for a shoot with some of the Toronto Maple Leaf players who are also Bauer athletes. Are you available? And just like that, my relationship with Bauer started. Now, here's the thing. That wasn't actually luck. It felt like luck at the time when I tell the story quickly, but if I really started to slow it down, it's just 6 years of relationship equity. It was 6 years of doing good work on my own, being relatable, not burning bridges, not disappearing, and definitely making sure to stay in people's orbit by posting social media of some of my work. That hockey game didn't create the opportunity. It just revealed the relationship that had already been built. And since then, Bauer has become one of my favorite clients to work with. We've created branded content, commercial campaigns, social videos, athlete features, and it turned into something much more than just a one-off job. It's a relationship. And here's the part that I think that most people don't talk about enough. Yes, you need to be good at your job. You need to be good at what you do, and your work has to deliver. But you also need to be that person that people really want to be around. And that's something I'm going to hammer home a lot.
An animal in the wild from Texas. You don't see many of these out in this cold of a climate with the high of altitude.
You just got to be someone that a client doesn't mind spending 12 hours on set with, or someone who, after the shoot wraps, is down to go grab a drink.
One has 2% milk and
this has 2%. This is milk.
One is 2% milk and one is oat milk.
Are these athletes?
Yeah.
Coffees first? Okay.
Talk about life, hockey, the kids, training for around the bay. So I'm here right now. Because the real connection doesn't happen when the camera's rolling. It's never happening there. It's always going to happen in the in-between moments, the downtime, the car ride to and from set, post-shoot pints. Brian Hunt, I know that's your copyright. That human connection is what builds trust. People don't just rehire talent, they rehire energy, They rehire presents, they rehire people who make their day better. And honestly, that's what's helped me more than any camera or piece of gear that I've ever owned. Now, back in 2011, I had no idea where that friend would end up. Again, there was no master plan or long-term strategy of knowing he was going to be working at such a cool company. I was just trying to do good work and be that person that people wanted to hang out with. That's it. So you really just don't know which relationships will end up mattering. So you treat them all like they might. Because honestly, business, especially in the creative industries, is a long game. Relationships compound, just like investments. Nothing might happen for years, and then suddenly the door opens and everyone calls it luck. But it's not luck. It's reputation, it's consistency, it's trust, and it's being someone people genuinely enjoy being around. When my friend recommended me for that shoot, he wasn't recommending my camera or, recommending my lens kit, the lights that I had. Gear didn't matter. He was recommending my reliability, my attitude, my work ethic, and what it's like to spend a full day on set with me. That stuff travels. Even when you're not actually in the room, people will talk about other people on set in good ways and bad ways, be in the good category. The reason I even saw those Bauer jackets is because I was already there. I was already in the room shooting for the Leafs. And if you want to know how I ended up working with the Leafs, comment down below if you want to hear that story. That's another relationship builder, but we'll get back to it. If you're not in those rooms, you don't get the conversations, and if you're not putting yourself in the sphere of work you want, you don't see those opportunities. Most career shifts don't come from big, dramatic moves. They come from small, ordinary moments. A quick conversation, a random question, a shared drink after a wrap. But those moments only really matter if you've done the quiet work beforehand. So here's what I've learned. You can't force long-term clients. You can't shortcut trust, and you can't fake human connection. All you can do is treat the people in front of you like they matter. It's easy. It's pretty simple. Do the great work, be reliable, stay curious, and be someone people genuinely enjoy spending time with. Because the hockey game, again, it's not the thing that built the relationship. It revealed it, and everything that's happened since, well, that's just compound interest. So if you're early in your career or you feel like nothing's happening right now, keep building, keep showing up, keep being someone that people remember for the right reasons. Can't stress that one enough. You never know which 5-minute conversation or which post-shoot pint is going to change everything for you. And most of the time, you won't even see it coming. So like I said, let me know down in the comments below if you have a similar story where you had a big breakout client that was a slow burn, that, you build that relationship over time, and then someone else made a move and was able to bring you along with them. I think that's one of the things that I really love about the filmmaking industry, especially, is that those relationships are built in really strange places at times. I might do a series of these videos, just case studies of how I got certain clients and ended up going really cool places in my career so far. And I'm hoping this YouTube channel might be another way of getting or building more of those relationships. So before I start rambling, we'll see you in the next one. Stoked to hear what you have to say down below. See you in the next one. Also, I should mention that I am shooting anamorphic today. This is the Sue Ray 50mm anamorphic. I don't even know what it's called.